I don't know how the heck we got Al locked on here, but I can take care of that real quick. Good evening and welcome. Yeah, he started over there too. Locked on here, but I can take care of that real quick. All right. Let me get this computer over here set up right.
Okay, I got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just filling in time. I thought that was me.
We are here. We're getting ready to start the show. So just give me 1 second. I'm dealing with this panel tonight, and they're disorderly as heck. So,
greetings. I hope everyone's doing great tonight.
Yeah. So, good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Been a disorganized afternoon, trust me. Wow, the last couple of weekends have been absolutely hectic, and this crowd that I have here tonight has not helped me at all. They have been the most disruptive, disruly people that I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm having to deal with them too. And wouldn't you know it, if my beard looks like it's going in that direction, that's because I got a fan over there blowing on me. Because yesterday afternoon when I came into the shop, my air conditioner decided it did not want to work anymore. So I got to get a new AC for my shop. So, but welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And we're going to do a show tonight. I promise you, we're just having a good time before the show. Everybody was laughing and carrying on and doing real good. Yeah. The air conditioner's been in this shop for 10 or 12 years. I think at least 12, maybe a little bit more than that. And I got it from a remodel job. So it was several years old when I took it out of a remodel job and brought it and put it into my shop. It's like a big unit. It's like a 12 or 15,000 BTU. It's like really big. So it'll put this thing to sub-zero in a heartbeat in this shop. It's way bigger than what the shop needed. And it served me well for, 10, 12, at least 10 or 12 years. I don't remember the exact time. Heck, I can't go back that far. So it finally decided to give it up the other day. I turned it on and it's not working. So I got to replace that. So I got this fan going over here to keep me halfway cool. It's really mild right here in Florida right now. So we're doing real good. But anyway, so welcome. And we're going to talk about repairing your scroll saw projects when you have a oops or a boo-boo or I didn't want to do that. So I'll get into that in just 1 second. Let me talk about my wonderful sponsors real quick before we go any further. And they are Devobal Technologies. For web design, development, hosting, visit devobal.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. They have the Pega scroll saw blades and clock parts. They have all kind of good stuff over there. Cling Spore, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com, and they have a lot more on their site than just sandpaper, trust me. And Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, seiko.com. My brand new ST21 Seiko scroll saw is absolutely fantastic, and I love it. So they're my sponsors. We got that out of the way, and let's go on. Last week, I'm sorry, I was just absolutely, everybody was going like, oh, Russell's supposed to tell us this week what happened. Well, let me explain to you. My son lives in a housing project, and he had this tree that was up next to his house. And it was, like really next to his house. Whoever planted it there was an idiot. Should have never been planted that close to the house. We're talking about within probably 16, 18 inches of the house. And it already got up to probably about 12 inches in diameter. Well, it was already starting to have effect on the foundation. So we had talked about it from the day he bought the house. That tree's got to come out of here. Well, things just happened, and he's changed his schedule as far as where he works. He works for the sheriff's department, and he's on a different schedule. He has odd hours, so to speak, and I can't get into what he is doing. I just can't tell you what he's doing, whatever. But he has weird hours. And we've been talking about getting rid of this tree for quite some time. Well, lo and behold, everybody was like, when the next day you have off on a weekend, let us know. And he said, hey, I've got this. This was like Thursday or Friday. He's got like Saturday. Let's get the tree out of there. We all went like, hey, we'll jump on it. So we all go over there and get this tree. Well, in the subdivision, he has a homeowners association. I hate homeowners associations almost as much as I hate Lowe's. And everybody's dying laughing. And so he was worried about stacking all that stuff out. So we not only wanted to take the tree down, we wanted to haul it all off to get it out of his property, out of his yard. And then we had the stump. So he wanted to get the stump grounded out. So we got there that morning. We cut the tree down. We hauled everything off, and the stump was all grounded out. Well, let me tell you, by about 3:30, 4 o'clock, as we're winding down over there, and I'm getting ready to come home, and I made it home. I hadn't even taken a shower yet, and I sit down in my chair, and I was there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I said, well, I bet, and I'm going to probably try to do the show tonight or whatever, and I'll get up. Well, when I got up, I realized at that point, yeah, there is no way that I'm going to do the show that night. I mean, my butt was about 2 inches off the ground, and I drug it into the shower and washed it. So it was, yeah, I was just wore slap out. But like I said, we got the tree gone, the stump gone, and everything else. So I apologize for not being here last Saturday, but you know, sometimes you just got to make exceptions to the rule. I mean, I try to have, I think I have it somewhere in the neighborhood of the lowest year is 48 shows. There's 52 weeks in the year. The first year I did Let's Talk Shop with Russ, I think I had 50 shows, so I only missed 2 weeks. So I try to be here every week, and I treat this like I do a job, because I want you to be here every week, and I want to be here every week, and I'm having a great time. So when I miss a show, it's not taking lightly. I assure you of that. The shows mean a lot to me, and I'm here every week to prove that. So when I say that I couldn't be here last week, let me tell you, my butt was, there was just no way. I just couldn't do it. So anyway, and then we got another thing that came up, and I was telling the guys about this, is that I was told I'm putting a roof over my house and putting metal up there. And I still had about a week and a half left before the metal was supposed to be done. Well, Friday afternoon, I get called by the guy and tell him, hey, the metal's ready, come pick it up. So I'm like, I'm in panic mode, because I have a big flatbed trailer, 26 foot long, and a lot of some of the 2x6s need to be replaced. Well, we were taking them out, replacing them at my leisure. I wasn't really rushed, because I knew I had a week and a half left before I had to go pick up the metal. So guess what I've been doing all day today? Yeah, getting that trailer ready to go pick up all that metal. So once again, my butt, if you see me stooping over real low, it's because my butt's kind of dragging the ground again. But we're here, and we're going to do repairing your scroll saw projects. And I have some, I think, great tips. This is what I do on my stuff. And so let's go down the line real quick and tell everybody where you're from and introduce our panel. So I'll quit talking about myself and start off with Brenda.
Hello, everybody. This is Brenda G's Designs. You'll find me on YouTube. You'll find me on Twitter. You'll find me on Twitch, Instagram, Etsy, and Patreon, all as Brenda G's Designs.
Great. And now next, Mr. Chris Ahern.
Hey, gang, Chris here from the Old Cracky Workshop. Mother Nature finally listened to a clip, and we're back in the shop, and hopefully get some projects going. I packed some new tools today, and did a little video working. Camera and everything's still working okay. But you'll find me on Facebook and on YouTube, and I really want to get a video up. I just haven't had the time to sit down and edit these things. So I can use Russ in time and manage it.
Is it? I didn't want to interrupt you, but is it only me, or is everybody else hearing your volume or your sound is terrible?
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like
it got better.
Now it just got better.
I moved the laptop a little further away from the speaker. I must have been confusing. So.
Nope. Now it went back out again. So.
God dang it.
I got my computer back up. I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, you'll find me on Facebook.
All right. Next is Jim Bashirs.
Hi, this is Jim Bashirs. I got a little YouTube channel called Driveway Workshop. I'm here with my man crafting mug, Russ. Hey, last week I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have a show because I went to a local wood carver show. I'm thinking about trying to get into the chapter here just to keep busy with things. But man, I'll tell you, some of the stuff that these guys made was just amazing. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting with these guys. It's the first and third Saturdays of the month. So other than that, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jim, I have my man crafting.
Well, that's got to be a thing, man, because JD's got
and then also have my other man crafting mug. I've got a collection of these
Angry
things.
Russ.
Yep. So anyway, next is Mr. John.
Evening, everybody. I have my Walmart crafted mug. John Chapner here from good old Central New York, where it's finally starting to warm up a little bit. You can find me on Facebook under my name, and if you got nothing better to do in your life but search YouTube, you can find my channel on YouTube under my name. Thank you for having me, Russ. It's a pleasure to be here again.
You're welcome. And then Ken from Moon Pie Creations.
Ken Moon Pie Creations. You can find me on YouTube under Moon Pie Creations, Facebook under Ken Moon or Moon Pie Creations, and I am now on Twitter. It's MPC_Ken.
Cool. And then Mr. Al Forte.
Hey, folks. Al Forte. Look for me at Kilroy79763 all over the place. Odessa Woodworking on YouTube and Facebook. Anyway, MPC, huh, Ken? Master Control Program Ken or something like that.
No, it's MPC, Moon Pie Creations.
Ah, yeah.
Come on, Al. All you got to be is 5% smarter.
Master Control.
Yeah, I was going to say morons poop in circles.
Oh, my goodness.
That'll work, too.
Anyway, just come see me.
All right, so next is Paul from Paul's Messy Workshop.
Hi, I'm Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube, on Instagram, and on .com. And Russ, the reason the group was laughing is because I shouldn't tell you this, but we were kind of laughing at you.
Why were you laughing at me? What did I do?
It doesn't take much.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. And then Russ Meadows. Russ is laughing, so he knows what was laughing at. Why were y'all laughing at me for?
I wasn't laughing at you, brother. I don't know what they were talking about. I've been out of the loop for a while.
Yes,
I was just laughing. I'm a happy fellow.
Mm-hmm.
Russ Meadows from Rusty Nails with a Z Woodshop. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Or if you can't find me there, look in Boston area because I'm looking for Chris for that beer he owes me.
Okay, cool. I noticed this before. I noticed it too, and somebody pointed out. Jim or Jeff Robinson said, "Al got a haircut. Al, you got your ears lowered."
Yeah, I got them all cut.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that. I was going to say something earlier and I forgot, but then Jeff said that. So, anything out there really? I have seen Donna Presley's posts, and she said her brother is doing better. Which is encouraging. He's able to eat some. I think they've taken the tube out of him, so he's able to sit up some. So it's encouraging that he's doing better. She can still use the help. So if she's actually done a what is the name of the PayPal
thing, right?
Yeah, there's a PayPal, Donna PayPal, but also she's opened up. GoFundMe. Yeah, the GoFundMe account. So if one of y'all, Al or Paul or one of y'all can post the GoFundMe account over there, she could still use y'all help to help with her brother and his recovery. I would appreciate it very much. So
does anybody know what's really wrong with Jerry Blakesley?
Yes,
Is
he
it
has
a blood infection, or he's got tetanus? Oh,
tetanus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the last time I talked to him, he had tetanus, and you know, in today's standards, tetanus is really you got tetanus, but apparently he hasn't been keeping up with his booster shots, and with all this construction he's been doing, he got either a rusty nail or, you know, actually everybody says it's a rusty nail that gives you tetanus. That actually is not really true. Tetanus comes from animal byproducts, so to speak, and it can be in a nail or it can be caused by a rusty nail, but more than likely it's something like that. But he's been working in all that construction, moving those 2 houses, and you know, everything that he could have got. I'm not saying it can't be caused by rusty nails, don't get me wrong, but my point is somehow he's come in contact with something, and it is given what they feel is tetanus. And the reason I say that is because he said he posted last night, I believe the last time I read it, they were giving him like a series of like 17 shots, and then a series of so many more shots the next day, and a series of so many more shots the next day.
You sure you got rabies?
No.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tetanus is almost in a lot of ways like rabies. So, and the fact of the series, but tetanus is very serious when it comes to the point that he was having problems and had to go to the doctor and be looked at. And they even, I think it was affecting his heart. Well, if you'll read the symptoms and the attacks of tetanus, attacks the muscles of the body. They call it lockjaw. In other words, when it gets to the point that's so bad, it actually locks your jaw and you can't eat and you die. I mean, there's a lot more other things that go along with it. Don't get me wrong, but my point is, so guess what's a muscle? A very strong muscle in your body, your heart. So naturally, it would affect his heart. And they put it in the thought, from my understanding, that he was having some cardiac, or maybe he was having some cardiac, because I know Jerry has had heart problems, maybe a bypass. So they did the cardiac protocol on him and everything, but ended up, I think they found out that he has tetanus, and he's not in really good shape. I mean, when it gets to that point when they're starting having to give you like 17 shots and 15, 11, and 10 and back them down, it's that he is in a pretty serious condition. So yeah, if you're a praying person, I would say that keep him in your thoughts and prayers also. I love Jerry to death, and I hope he gets better. I wish he could be in the hospital tonight watching this. And Jerry, take care of yourself, bro. I mean, we're gonna all be around here. Quit pushing yourself, and you got Amanda, your beautiful daughter, to take care of. So I know you think about these things. Don't get me wrong. And he is one of these type of people that since I've met him and I've known him, is that he push. When he's got these houses to move and he's on a time schedule, he push and gets it done. So sometimes that can cause problems, and I think that, yeah, a lot of stress and everything else. So, but I hope you're doing better, Jerry. And like I said, keep him in your prayers also, because he's not doing very good. Okay, so enough of all that, and not that it wasn't important. I love Donna and Jerry, and I hope they get better. I hope Donna's brother gets better and Jerry gets better. But let's get at the task at hand, and that is let's talk about repairing your scroll saw projects. Now, I've been doing this for 30 years. So I've had more than my share of breaking a scroll saw project. And when you spend hours upon hours of doing some of these things, and you break one little piece and you go like, oh my God, do I have to do it all over again? Well, I'm going to tell you, I would say no. I've repaired a many of pieces over the years and sold them and gave them to people. And you're going like, oh my God, you sold my scroll project that was broken. A piece got broken. I was able to repair it. I told them about it. And some of the times I even tell them, I'm like, if you can find it, I'll make you another one. And they can't find it. So I would never let anything walk out the door that I made that I wasn't confident was as good as new, so to speak. So, and I'm not going to get into that discussion and all that. Oh, you sold a broken piece or whatever, because that's not even where we're going tonight. And I could care less, to be honest with you, what you think, because I do tell the people that when they buy my stuff, if there's a problem with it, I do let them know about it and I tell them about it up front. I would say most of the customers that I've had throughout the years and I continue to have throughout the years are buy from me on a regular basis. And they tell people and they buy me from me. It's a word of mouth. It just fans out, so to speak. So when I tell these people that and then they look at it and they'll hold it up and go, don't worry about it. You know, so that's where it goes from there. They're like, no big deal. Don't worry about it. I can't find it. I don't see it. So no big deal. But anyway, when you spent all these hours on working on something and you break one little dad burn piece and you're going like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, there is hope. You can fix it. You can make it so that it's not known or so close. I've had people over the years look at it and go like, I'll even point it out to them. And they'll go like, really? Like, yeah, that's where it broke. So they're shaking their head. So we're going to talk about that tonight and how you can repair it, how you can make it as good as new and everything else. Now, there's several different types of brakes. There's actually like the snap off brake. Let me change the camera over here real quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and let y'all get kind of like dizzy and sick. Yeah, and this is like upside down. So let's see if I can pull this. Ooh, everything is moving. Okay, first off, I like to have a very, very nice flat surface and a what I would consider non-stick surface to work on. This is a piece of ceramic tile, okay? And I do a lot of my repairs on top of this tile. It's nice and flat. I can depend on it being flat. And also, I don't have to worry about the glue don't want to stick to it a whole lot. So I depend on that. But there's several different types of brake. There's like the straight brake, whenever you have something that just breaks straight off. This is an old piece. I did like several of cuttings of these. I think there was a stack cut. There was like 3 or 4 of them. And so some of the pieces broke off. It was a long time ago. And I just kept this hangs up actually behind me every show. So that's the reason I just keep it around. It's just always there. But there's actually a break right here, if you can see it. There's actually a break right there.
Yep.
So it's just something I just keep around. It was there. I got 2 or 3 more of them. They're in a box somewhere. The pieces broke off of it. It was a stack cut fail, I think it was. But anyway, there's several different types. There's an actual straight brake where it breaks off real straight. And then there's, I don't know how to describe it, but like a
half brake.
Well, like it actually starts at the bottom of the piece and then breaks, but breaks up like a ladder step up to the other piece.
Right.
Those are your perfect brakes, because when those break like that, like a ladder brake, let's see if I can break this into a ladder brake right here. Or is this going to just break off square?
Pull it.
Okay, that broke off more or less square. That didn't break off as a ladder brake. I was looking for a ladder brake. Let's see if we can break this one off. I think all these are going to be there. Whoop, that one shot across the room. Yeah, that one broke off. So when you get those ladder brakes, those are actually what I would consider the perfect brake. And when I talk about a ladder brake, let me take a piece of paper out here and show you what I'm talking about. A ladder brake would be where you have this piece that is like this, and then it comes over and then squares down to like this, and the other piece breaks off like that. So you have these two brakes, but yet they're in a linear breaker, so to speak, across. So those are very easy to put back together because you have a lot of surface area in here to hold glue and a lot of pieces that are here that will make it fit back together where it can almost be not seen. So that's a very good brake. A straight brake, it would be like it just breaks off like that, just happened like that. That would be like a straight brake. They will work, don't get me wrong, they'll work also and putting them back together. But these brakes are actually the best. And this piece here that I did the other night over on Twitch TV. Hold on, just let me see this one second. I got to remember which piece broke off myself. Ah, was this piece right here? Yeah. This piece here broke, and if you'll go back and watch the video over on Scrolling with Russ on Twitch, broke. And you can't see it, trust me.
Gotta hide the panel.
Yes, this piece right here. It actually broke right here at this corner. And let me here, gonna lock on myself because y'all are talking it. Let's see if I can pull this piece. Hold on, I've lost my position. It was broke right here. And I'm doing my best to put that in the camera so you can see it.
It's still a little hard to focus on it.
Yeah, see from up here?
Yeah.
So when you glue that back together, are you just gluing the seam or are you gluing it to the backer board too?
I'm gluing it together first before I ever put the backer board on. But right there is the hairline fracture from here downward, and it goes all the way down. I think you can see it just a barely bit right there as I've got it into the camera. So my point is, see, you don't even see that. So what the first thing you have to do is, first off, you got to hope you have the piece that you just broke off. I think I've actually laid down. Oh, there it is right there. Let me get my eyes. I hope I brought my eyes out here. If not, give me 1 second. I'm going to have to find my eyes. Let me walk out to the other part of the shop because I could have swore I had my glasses in here. But I've been so busy today that I may not have them with me. And I didn't. I left them out there in the other part. Sorry about that. So, but when you're putting this piece back together, is this where it broke off at?
Yeah.
What you want to do is you're gonna need some helpers. I like using toothpicks. help me maneuver and put the piece back into the original position. I don't know if that's the original position or not with that one. No, that's not it. I can tell. All right, we're going to break another piece. That's not it. I'm telling you.
We're really not fixing anything tonight. We're just breaking.
All right, we'll break this piece off.
We're going to make a puzzle out of it.
There we go.
Pretty soon it's just going to have a big hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So
there we go. So this piece.
So Russ, that the glue won't stick to the ceramic. That's what you said before.
Yeah, I have not had it stick to it. So anyway, we'll break this piece off. Though this is a nice piece, and see how we get it, and it goes back on there. And actually, you cannot even see if it goes. Okay. So one of the things you got to realize is what glue do you want to use? You can use the tight bond. You can use Aleene's tacky glue, or you can use the 2P10. None of these really matter what you want to do. It all depends on how much time you have and you wanting to get this thing put back together so that it will, or you can use it again. Now, in all these things, if you want to add stain or anything to this, you have to be very sparingly as to how you apply it. Now, if I'm going to apply with the 2P or the, wow, this stuff. This just not want to cooperate tonight.
You're live, that's why.
Yeah. Here, we'll use it this way.
Only 1 million people.
Now, you can't use this bottle, even though the stopper, and put a drop on that successfully. So what I do is I just go over, and since this thing is going to not want to cooperate real well, just put a drop over here on this little piece of plastic. I buy these little cups, and there's the lid. And there's a second reason to have toothpicks. Is because now I can take just a little tiny bit with that toothpick and I can successfully put that on this piece with that toothpick. To be able to stick it back together. And then you just bring it back over there. Push it on. Now, with the this type of glue, you're going to have to sit there and hold it for a few seconds. And I like to smear it back around and make sure it's all worked in there real good. And you're going to have to sit there and hold it for a few seconds until it makes its little bond. That's the reason I kind of am going toward the anymore the CNA glue, because once you put that on and then you squirt it with the activator, it don't take so long. That's one way of doing it. And like I said, then you just, once you get it in there really, 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 really close and you've held it for that period of time, you just have to walk away and let it sit there. That's all you can do. And then that piece will stay on there, and it will over a period of time, but you have to leave it for like, I don't know, a good hour or so before I would even think about messing with it in any way, shape, or form. So using the tight bond will work, and using the Aleene's tacky glue will work to do those kind of things, either one. But once again, like I said, you're going to have to sit there and wait for it to get a hold. And see that I even moved it, but get a hold and hold it in there. And trust me, you have to leave it alone. I'm touching it and messing with it. So if you do that and you're patient enough and leave that like that, it will actually stay. Now, another thing you can do on the back side, see how that wasn't wanting to try to go in together and stay there? Do I even have that thing on there right? Yep. I want to push it in here and hold it, so it'll at least, I might have to go to the CA glue. Yep, I'm going to have to end up going to the CA glue. But once you do that, here's another thing that you can do. Now
so Russ, if you use CA glue and maybe spritz it with activator, does that leave like a sheen or something where the stain won't stick to it?
No, it doesn't. I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time, other than the fact that, like everybody just said, that it's live tonight.
It's live.
Live. Just break another piece off, Russ.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Y'all are having such fun with this, aren't you?
There you go.
Okay.
Well, that's why we're here.
So, and I'm sweating horses over here. All y'all are having this fun. Anyway, so let's say that I put this piece together and I'm really, really not confident that it's going to stay together really all that well. Well, I have round toothpicks that are in here, but I really like the flat type of toothpicks. These are round. And these ones are flat. Here's a flat one right here. Well, here's what you can do. You can bridge that piece. What you can do is go in here and you can take a piece and you can break it off. And you can lay it across that piece to bridge it. And you can come in and you can add. I love this with the CA glue because this works the best. Just a little bit of CA glue across those pieces. And then add this to bridge it. Across, and you want to get it where it can't be seen. And then you add a little activator. And boom. You've just created a bridge, and look how strong that is now.
I admit I ain't never seen that one before. That's pretty neat.
Indeed.
See how strong that is?
Wow.
Now, people will say, but when you do that and you put the backer on, you will see it. Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
I put the bridge on this one.
That's got a back bridge on it?
That has got a back bridge on it with a toothpick.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's like magic.
And you can't see it.
I never did care for those flat toothpicks, but I'm actually seeing some worth in them.
Yeah.
And I made that bad joke about you gotten all these different kinds of toothpicks, like we all have different lathe tools.
Yep. But that has a toothpick behind it. You will not see it. It's such a thin piece and a thin amount that it actually adds so much support to this piece. Look how strong that is. I mean, I'm jiggling the hell out of it.
Can you pick it up by it? That'd be the true strength.
Here we go. Hold on.
Snap. Oh my God.
Geez, here we go.
Well, it did break.
Al was going to have him hang an angle grinder off it next.
Yeah. But the toothpick method really, 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 really works. And you can do the toothpick method with the tight bond. You can do it with the Allen's tacky glue. It's just, it don't set as fast. You just have to sit it there and just walk away and come back in 2 or 3 hours. You know, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, if you want something to hold with a tight bond, usually let it dry overnight. So that's my point.
You know, Russ, that really did hold it really well. I mean, I was only joking, you know, pick it up, but you did try, and it did seem to.
Okay, well, we're going to take this piece here. Okay.
Let's break another piece off.
No, this is already broken.
This
is already broken.
Can you try one over the biscuit?
Try one over the what?
With a biscuit.
With a biscuit? What the
heck? Put it together with a biscuit. Like drill a little hole on one side. And a hole
yeah, I ain't going there.
And use a toothpick. Is that it?
Yeah. So this is broke here. Y'all can see where it's broke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Russ, while you're getting your stuff out to fix that, Matt Haas had a question. He said, did Russ cover the solution where you just send the project to a CNC?
Well, a CNC ain't woodworking.
Oh my God. Here we go.
And that was just a joke.
My God, I can't believe you just said that, Russ.
Yeah, that was just a joke because I do have one, guys. Come on, give me a break. All right.
Oh my God, you're gonna burn.
On the looks of it, there's been a lot of breaks tonight.
Yeah. So anyway, we got this one right here. So yes, and the reason I say that that I fixed on the horse was actually done with CA glue. And the reason I'm becoming a big fan of the CA glue is for the fact that it will go into these really tight spaces and work really, really quick. Now you can use the CA glue just like I did with the toothpick. And that's what I like about the thicker the gel, because its set time is a lot slower than your thin CA glue. Okay. So you can actually get some of that CA on the end of a toothpick, and you can go down in here.
And that has no effect on the staining process.
No, it not as well. Once you do this, you need to sand the surfaces. Yes. And once you sand the surfaces, no.
Okay.
You didn't see it. I stained that horse's piece. Okay. So we got that down in there. We're going to hold this together.
What works better, like 1/8 inch if you're cutting 8 or 1/4 inch plywood, or
I've done this on
solid wood?
I've done this on hardwoods. I've done this on everything, and either way. All right. So once again, there you go.
Very nice.
You can't even tell it from the front, and there's where it was broke on the back.
Is that how you're going to put your triangle or your dice together, Al?
And so, and once again, you go back, you take a toothpick. Let's say that, all right, I'm not believing that that's going to stay. It's real simple. Put your little drop across the bridge.
Excuse me.
Take your little toothpick. Put it on there. And now, here's what we're going to do is we're going to intentionally put that on there, and you can, I love this spray. I can just minutely push it really, really soft, and it just puts out such a fine mist, but yes, it works so fantastic. I love that. Okay, so we've got that on there. So that's bridged it. And let's say that now, okay, we're looking at it and going like, well, I can see it from the left or right or whatever. Well, that's when you break out your set of files and you come in here
clean it right up
and you file that back on the back side. You come in here and file this over on the back side
and it won't come off
until you hold it up. No, it's not going to come off.
Wow. Hey Russ, Tracy Keaton would like to know what thickness your plywood.
This is 1/4-inch Baltic birch. Well, actually, I don't know. This is 1/4-inch. Wow. I think this is 1/4-inch pine. This is solid wood.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, this is not plywood. I thought this is 1/4-inch pine. I thought it was plywood.
Hey, Russ. They're talking about in the chat. They're kind of talking about taking it, and I think they're joking, but actually it does make a point. You can take a round toothpick and sand it down and make it flat.
You could. I'm not saying that. I just buy the flat toothpicks.
Oh, no, certainly, but no, invention is or whatever.
Yeah, if you only had rounds, then hell yeah, use them.
Exactly. And then somebody started, I guess, talking about offset turn a toothpick.
Now, there's one more thing that I like to show you or talk about. Let's go back here and talk about a piece that we break off. I guess I'm going to have to end up breaking another piece. Okay. Let's say this piece, for instance. Let's say that this is such a small fine, and by the way, that's still here. And look how strong that is. I mean, that piece is there. It's once you put that on a backer and glue that down, you'll never in a million years know that it was ever broke. But the one more thing I want to point out with real quick, and that is when you break a piece off, let's say that you break, I'm trying to find I've broken so many pieces off of here tonight. Actually, this is definitely going to go in the garbage after tonight, but let's use this one. Let's say that I ended up breaking this piece off. And when it broke off, it was so bad, it shattered so bad that there's no way I'm going to reclaim that piece. And I've spent 24 hours working on this piece. Well, you know what? First thing is, that's when you go back and print out the pattern.
Cut a piece.
And you take that piece that broke off and cut it out of the pattern, wherever it may be. And that's when you save all the little tiny pieces that are in the garbage can that you've come out from that piece. And you find one that's big enough. And then you take that piece that you have sit there. This is not the correct pattern. This is a pattern, but it's a reverse pattern. So it should have been a piece like over in here, but that's when you come in here, and we'll just use this piece for example. We'll come in here and we'll find this piece. that this is the piece that's broke out. And we're going to cut it out of the pattern. Now, I wouldn't do this on a pattern that only took me 2 or 3 hours. I'm talking about a pattern that took you days to do. And then you're going to glue this piece that broke off to that. And you're going to take it and you put it on your scroll saw and you're going to cut it out. And you're going to make sure that that piece, wherever you broke that piece off, bonded really well as far as it wants to be square. That's when you come in here. Where did I break that piece off at? Right here. It's right here. That's when you come in here and you take your file and you flatten this area out.
I was going to ask you how you did that to make them up, because you know you couldn't cut it to fit that way.
Nope. You flatten this area out. Really nice. And then when you cut this piece off, you cut it bigger, a little bit bigger. Okay? And then you come in here and take that piece. Let's pretend this is that piece, which is the one that I actually broke off. And you're going to file it so that piece is nice and flat. And you keep filing one upon the other until they actually fit back where they were nice and flat and where you can't see them again. And then you will glue those pieces. I have done that more than once, trust me. And
would you at that point glue it also to the back of the board for sure?
No, I don't never glue. I just glue it together, and then when I put it on the backer board, I just make sure there's a little drop of glue in that area when I glue it to the backer board.
Okay.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll know that that piece is broke and it's been glued. So when I glue it to the backer board, I'll drop on the back side of this, I'll drop a drop of glue so that when I put it on the backer board, it's also glued to the backer board. So that it's impossible for it to move. Now, you say, well, that's good, that's Baltic birch, and my pieces weren't that small. Well, that's when you go back to your scrap bin, and that's when you pull all these pieces that you've cut from other projects that are cherry and walnut and mahogany. That's when you get, if you can't find a piece that's big enough to replace it with a scrap piece that you have, that's when you go through your scrap bin and you find all these pieces of cherry and mahogany and even Baltic birch plywood that you've saved. And you cut the little piece out of that and you line that piece up. Let's say this is walnut. I line this piece up with the walnut and get the grain right and say, yes, I can cut that out of that piece right there because that grain matches up to this. And then I cut that little piece and I apply that pattern to that piece of walnut. And I cut that little piece of walnut out. And then I glue that piece of walnut back onto there. But I sit there and I go through my pieces and find the one that matches the grain pattern to that piece. You have to realize I've just spent 20 hours or 25 hours or, cutting this piece out. And I'm going to give it up over one breakage when I know I can go back through and fix it. I've done this countless of times. And it doesn't take that long. When you sit there and think the fact that you spent all that time cutting that pattern out for 2 or 3 days, 4 or 5 hours at a time for 2 or 3 days, and you broke one piece and you're going to throw it away? I don't think so. I'll spend the time to take a few extra minutes to find a piece because it don't take me that long. I can usually fix a piece that broke off I'll spend maybe 30 minutes finding a piece that matches it. And I'll just turn the piece around. Oh, that grain. Oh, that looks perfect right there. Oh, no, that one's not good. This one right here will work really great. See what I'm saying? and you cut that one little piece and you glue it back on, and boom, you're back in business.
So you're saying if you drop it on the floor enough, it'll turn into an intarsia piece?
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, that's good. That's good.
But those are the things that I have done. Like I said, I have cut the little pieces out, and trust me, if you turn your scroll saw down low and you find the right piece and cut that little tiny, where the little piece of pattern, I think it flew off the table here, but you find that little piece of pattern, this little piece right here that broke off, and you cut it out, and you slap it down on that piece, and you glue it, and you cut that thing out, and you make sure that that's flat because you sanded it off. You've taken your file, either your flat file, your round file, or whatever, and you flatten those areas out, and you come back and put that on and glue it on, and that piece fits in there like a glove. And when you get through, you go like, oh my God, I can't even find where I did it. After 20 hours plus of work or whatever, you're sitting there to yourself going like, hallelujah, I ain't got to cut it again. So, but that piece fits pretty good right back on there. Like I said, I've been doing this. I ain't got my glasses on. I gotta kind of guessing here as to if there's actually any glue on there or not. All right, I got my glasses back on. And then you put that piece back into there where it goes. You can even use the files to push it back into place.
A done deal.
And a hush came over the crowd.
Yes. I'm just looking at that glue. It looks like you just reached down and.
Trust me, I'm doing it. You need to take time and be patient. That's the biggest thing, is be patient. You've already made the mess. Now you're trying to correct it. Don't get in a hurry. Don't get frustrated. Don't get your panties wadded up. Take your time, take a little effort, and fix what you messed up. And I assure you, I have fixed so many. The toothpick thing to me was something I did a long time ago, years ago. And once I did that first one with a toothpick, and because when I first glued it together, let's change the camera over, because does anybody have any more questions before I get out of the, before I move the camera? Do I have any more questions?
I'd just like to say, if you don't have a 50-cent box of toothpicks, you could probably use like a $60 or $70 sheet of veneer to put back there.
Yeah.
For a bridge.
Or you could actually take and
you can use anything in your shop to make that bridge behind it.
Yeah.
I chose toothpicks because I had a project and I broke something off of it and I was needing to repair it and whatever. And I ran into the house and I'm thinking like, what can I use that is so small? I don't remember. I was standing in the shop and I don't know, toothpicks just came over me for some strange reason. I don't know where it came out of. It's just like God put toothpicks in my mind and said, toothpicks, my son, will fix everything. And poof. And I started using toothpicks, and they have become, and I particularly like the flat ones, and I usually buy, I do have round ones, don't get me wrong. I keep round ones in here also for just in case too, but I particularly like the flat toothpicks. And I've had this toothpick jar, I swear it has to be at least, I was talking to my wife the other day, I said, you remember when we were somewhere and bought these, and we were together or whatever, and it's been at least 6 or 8 years I've had this thing, and you can see I've still got a bunch of toothpicks. So one big container of toothpicks will last you a lifetime, so to speak.
Well, boys, I just got the idea for his next birthday gift.
Give me toothpick.
He's gonna get them drop shipped from that.
But
I'll send you an Amazon link so you can use my affiliate store.
yes, somebody just posted in there about using them as mini dowels and screws. Yes, you can also. Let's say that you have. All right, so obviously you don't need to see any more of this. So I hope that I have done you.
Something, school marm.
I hope I've done you all well.
Yeah, toothpicks.
I'm not going to move the camera. Anyway, so all y'all have seen the toothpicks, but somebody just pointed out over there, and yes, I have seen a thing where they take the round toothpicks and you have a screw that is stripped out and you put wood glue on them and just keep on piling the wooden toothpicks in that screw hole until you fill it up so much you can't stick another toothpick in there, and you can like tap them with a hammer, and you leave them there and then come back and cut them off with a chisel and then put your screw in that hole.
And the golf tees are good for that too.
So yeah, golf tees are good for that. You're exactly right. Golf tees are good for that. Kind of sitting like cockeyed. I think I'm going to change the camera back and put it over here so I don't look at myself cockeyed.
Everybody.
Okay. So now I'm not looking at myself cockeyed when I look at y'all. But those are my tips. I have fixed more than one fretwood project. I have fixed tons of projects.
If you just stop making those mistakes, you wouldn't have that problem.
You know, I only make a mistake every once in a great while. And this one, after all the Twitch videos that I have done cutting out pieces, this was the first piece that I ever broke while I was doing Twitch, was this one right here. And if y'all remember, those who were watching last, there's a bug on my screen. Get out of here. Y'all remember, for those who were watching, watch me, that piece broke.
I saw it.
Yeah. And I told y'all I would fix it and put it back on, and you wouldn't even be able to tell it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I held it up to the camera, I even said, this is a beautiful break, because it was that linear break where it broke down through the plies longwise and it went right back on and perfect. And I put the toothpick behind it, and you can't even tell that it was ever broken.
Jeff Robinson is making a comment about you can use toothpicks in flat eyeballs to make them look real. That kind of
okay,
like a pinpoint of light, maybe.
Yeah. But I've used them to bridge bunches of things. I've never used them as a dowel. I'm not saying that you couldn't use them as a dowel. That would be a real fine drill bit, and I've got some fine drill bits. Let me tell you, I've got some that are microscopic fine. I mean, they are like so fine. Give me 1 second. I've got some.
I wonder if you could make the little, and I can't remember what it's called, that we looked it up one time, but anyway, when you drill dowels, you have that little metal piece. I wonder if you could make one of those with like a coat hanger, just cut a piece off. And
those are like really, really small drill bits.
What do you use to drill with those?
A drill?
No, for real, they'll fit in your regular drill?
No, I use.
You got a small drill truck.
Like a holder.
You have to use
A
something
mini
like
drill truck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have one that's even tinier than that. Just
yeah. My favorite mini drill chuck is this one right here, which is, I had a Dremel that had the, what do you say, the cord that you could hook to the Dremel that you could use it as a grinder or whatever. And the cable snapped inside. And I took it apart and I discovered, wow, I really like this end. And this was the piece that came out of the end of the Dremel shaft. And I use it to hold my mini drill bits now. And I just put this in my.
Okay, who's got the turkeys?
This will fit. This fits nicely inside of a drill press also. But I just.
Russ, Chris Nealon dropped $2 in the super.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So I just use that. Or it will chuck up in a drill. This is big enough that it will chuck up in a drill press. Or you go to Carl Taylor and you buy one of these, and this will chuck up into a drill press, and it also expands out and closes down and accept those mini drills.
Does it hold like a 50 or something like that? Or what's
it'll hold something so small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes down to, well, it closes pretty well tight.
Well, yeah, if it does, then that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But I even got another set here of the micro drill bits. I haven't even opened it. This is a brand spanking new box. I haven't even opened it. Well, I guess I'm going to have to tear it.
Chris says that's coffee money for you.
Okay.
Russ.
Well, I thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. How does this thing open? Ah, there's hinges on this side. So.
Oh, hey, Russ, here's something you might be interested in. Dennis Goodson said that he has a scroller's drill from Seiko.
Yes.
It's made for micro-sized drill bits, and you can move it. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to tell you, one of the guys at that scrolling thing last Saturday, thanks for reminding me, Dennis, had a Seiko scroll saw there, and I'll tell you, I play with it a little bit, and man, you are 1,000% right about that thing.
I told you.
It's got that big flat rectangular deck on it, and man, is it just a pleasure to cut stuff with.
Well, first off, give me a second till I figure out how to open this damn box.
I think the tilting head would be really, really nice, Jim. After the bowls that Russ has cut on Twitch, that would be ideal. And somebody was talking about making a jig or something to where they can just.
All right, the bits are actually falling out, which I'm not pleased with because I have no idea as to how to.
You're just giving them fodder in the chat, Russ. Every time you say bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's.
Lighten up that chat room.
Yeah, I've got that same set, Russ.
It looks like a bitty thing. Little bitty thing.
I opened the box and lost 4 bits.
Is that like a buck?
Look at the size of these that go all the way down to.
That is very small.
Look at these on the back side of this.
Yeah, nice. I've been using a 57, I think, on my smaller ponds and stuff.
See, that's the reason I didn't want to open this box up because I knew I'd.
Bits all over the place.
Yeah, I have bits all over the place.
Yeah, I've got the same one. I use it in a little hand pin vise here.
So anyway, but that I have never tried using them as far as drilling a hole and using toothpicks. I have tried the little thing about the screw thing. I had a keeper plate for a lock one time that the screw hole was wallered out, and I did take some wood glue and put them in there and keep sticking them in there till I couldn't get them in there, and hammered them in there, and then walked away and left them for a few hours and come back and chiseled them off, and it worked perfect. I have done that on a like the keeper for the lock on the door jamb itself. So
I got one question for you. How much pull do you have with Ray over there at Seiko? The reason I'm asking is because he was at the woodworking show over here in Texas and Houston last weekend, and I spoke to him, and I tried to get him to trade me 2 DeWalts and a Delta that all work for one of his Seikos, 21-inch like that, and he wouldn't go for it.
Well, I wonder why.
Oh man, but they all work.
It doesn't matter.
I tried to say, man, come on, I'll trade you straight up.
They're boat anchors compared to his Seiko.
Oh man, that is a fine, beautiful machine.
Yes, it is, and I am very, very proud, very, very happy that he chose me.
Yeah.
And gave me one to, and I'm very honored. And that's the reason I use it every time on the Scrolling with Russ over there on Twitch, and I talk about it. I don't get me wrong, I love my DeWalt. I wouldn't trade anything in the world for the DeWalt. And if I had to go back and they said, you've got X amount of money to build your shop with, and what is the scroll saw you're going to deal with? Let's say they gave me like, a couple of thousand or whatever. It's going to have to be the DeWalt to start off with, because of the fact it is a good saw. There's nothing wrong with it. But that being said, if you want a saw that goes above and beyond what the DeWalt is, that works fantastic, and it's got that tilting head instead of the table tilting and all the other factors, then yeah, the Seiko is the one that I would choose in the next. Hands down, I would go for the Seiko. It's a beautiful saw. I love it. I can't say enough since I've used it. I'm like, holy crap! The vibration is like none.
It's a very quiet machine too.
Yep, it's a very quiet machine.
Yep, really quiet and doesn't shake hardly at all.
So, take it off of me. So, all right. So, if we don't have any other questions, I have successfully put all kinds of pieces. I just wanted to go over the fretwork ones tonight and show you what I have done with the fretwork for these, and using a little tip about the toothpick on the back side. That will toughen up your work, because sometimes those little fretwork pieces are so very thin that even when you glue them back together, there's not enough support there. And by adding that little tiny piece, and the toothpick on the flat toothpicks on that one, now this is broke, but the flat toothpicks on that one end gets really, really, really small. So when you break it off and put it on there as support, and I swear, when you put it on you don't have to do anything. Put it together and put it on the backer board and glue it all together, and you'll look at it and go like, holy crap, it disappears. You don't even know it's there. The toothpick is not thick enough to worry about anything and then pushing anything out to where it would even be noticed by the human eye. Is it probably sticking out? Well, hell yeah, you're adding a little bit to the back of it. But is it going to be caught by the human eye where you can actually detect that it's sticking out? Nope. Not in a million years. You'd never see it. So those are just a couple little tips and tricks. Save your little pieces. I put all my little pieces, when I cut them out, I got a garbage can sitting right next to my scroll saw, and I throw them in there so that I can go back through if I do break a piece off and pull one of them out. Save your little chunks of where the heck did I put them? Oh, save your little chunks. You don't have to save them all, but save some pieces of cherry. Save some pieces of walnut. Save some pieces of the pine. This is actually pine that I cut down to 1/4 of an inch. Save these pieces for the grains, because you never know when you break a piece off when you might need one of these pieces to fix the piece that you broke off. So I try to cut the scraps down to a minimum, but this is a nice chunk. I will find a use. I'll break something or have this use, and this is a nice chunk. I will find a use for this. Save some of these pieces. You can tell this comes straight out of a scroll saw project, but it's a big enough piece that I was like, all right, I'll save that, and just in case I ever need to have one. Save some pieces, nice size pieces of Baltic birch, plywood. Save some of those. You don't have to save a big, huge pile. Save some of each. And you'd be surprised sometimes that the grain pattern will actually fit the grain pattern, the one that you're working on. You'll go through 2 or 3 pieces and turn it a certain way, and you'll go like, oh, there it is right there. Been there, done that. So any more any questions? I've been relying on y'all to look through and see if we had any questions tonight. These little files, by the way, this little file set that I used, and I use all the time. I don't know how many of them's in the set. There's a bunch of them. I got to talk about my favorite store.
Lowe's?
Nope. Harbor Freight.
Walking a thin line, Paul.
These all came from a set from Harbor Freight, and I've had them for years and years and years. I finally, and I didn't actually do it. My wife did. Broke one of them the other day. I've had these.
Have some tough fingernails.
Pronounced Lowe's.
I've had these things for like 5 or 6 years, and she broke one of mine.
That's it. She's banned from the shop.
Yep.
Don't they have a lifetime warranty?
No, I don't think these have a lifetime warranty, but
yeah,
they work fantastic for some of this stuff. I mean, you get all different. You get the round one. You get that this is a triangle shaped one. This is a flat, kind of like oval one. This is another kind of like, no, this is a square one. I mean, they come in all different kinds of shapes, and they're a few bucks, and they work perfect for getting into those little places and sawing or sanding it out. Especially if you need to cut a whole new piece, you can make it nice and square and then butt the other piece right up to it. So I have a set of them. I've had them for years, and that one broke. I'll probably go buy another set just to have them, just because I want to.
Because you can.
Because I can. So if there's not any more questions, what time are we rocking on here? 9:21. Yep. You can fix 90. I have been able to fix 90+%. I would say almost 95%. But 90+% of your breaks in your scroll saw projects, if you take your time, you be patient. You say, as soon as that little piece breaks off, you save it, put it off to the side, cut your whole project out, then come back. That's when you make the determination. Can I use that piece? Can I put it back in? Do I need to cut this off square? Do I need to bring in another piece? Just don't worry about it. It broke. Sometimes the piece is actually so insignificant that you can just cut it off square and go on, and nobody will ever in a million years know it even was there. But on occasion, you break a piece, and I'm sweating my butt off in here because I don't have an air conditioner. Sometimes you'll break that piece off that is just so detrimental that it needs to be there. And you're going like, I've spent 20 hours on this dad burn project.
Is that the word you used?
Yeah. And I'm going to have to throw it out the door. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can fix your scroll saw projects if you just take the little time and effort and go save some of the pieces and do what I told you to do tonight. You can fix them, I swear, and nobody will ever in a million years even know it, that it was even broken. So I just wanted to point that out to everyone tonight. So thank you for being here. Y'all haven't been asking me many questions from out of the chat, so I guess everybody knows what.
There's one last question over there from Dennis Benson. He's got a small chunk of a pine separated from a puzzle. Chunk is very irregular. Any suggestions?
I had a small chunk of pine separate from a puzzle piece. The chunk is very irregular. Separate or actually break off. If it's separated, just squeeze some glue in there and push it back together and hold it. Put some of the 2P10 in there. Take your toothpick, get it all down in that crack real good, wipe it off real good, and push it back together and spray some accelerator on it. Hold it together until it dries. If it's just separated. Pine's the world's worst for breaking as far as separating after you've cut it. I was actually shocked. I thought I cut this out of Baltic birch until I actually looked and discovered that it was actually out of a 1/4-inch pine. Actually,
it does look a lot like Baltic birch.
Yeah, no, it's solid piece of wood. There is no. What it is I think I bought a chunk of pine from. I got a chunk of pine from somewhere. It might have been at my mill that I buy, and I cut it up and planed it down to 1/4-inch pieces. I think that's what it was, and this is part of that batch. And I tried to. Pine is a bad to do stack cutting. That's what I found out when I stack cut all these. That's the reason this one has been hanging. This has actually been hanging. If you'll go back and look at my show, I think you'll see that that's been hanging up there forever in that same position. But pine is so brittle, so soft of a wood that when you try to stack cut it, you end up breaking the pieces. Baltic birch is very good for stack cutting because of the plies and everything in it. But I think that's why I had 2 or 3 of them. I cut like 3 or 4, and like the last 2 of them didn't work out. They broke off, and that's one of the ones that I salvaged. So, and then I decided, yeah, I'm not going to stack cut any more pine anymore. It didn't work very good. I don't like stack cutting anyway. I mean, I have done it, and I've had success with it, but I mean, unless you're trying to duplicate a lot of the same thing at one time, I don't do that anymore. If somebody wants something, I cut one and cut it individual. And all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all for being out there, and and standing and staying and watching me sweating my butt off while I'm standing here. I've got to get a new air conditioner for my shop. If you want to make donations out there right now for my new air conditioner, I would appreciate it. You know, a couple $100 would be nice if y'all donated that tonight so I can buy my new air conditioner. So I don't have to take it out of my pocket. I would appreciate that.
It's the least you can do.
You got 1/100th of it tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate, and I thank you very much. Who was that donated that? Y'all remember? I'll make sure I say thank you to him personally when I see him. But anyway, appreciate it very much. Thank you guys for being on the panel. Thank you. And I haven't had a chance. I've been so busy. There's Dennis Godson, Becky's Texas Wood Shop has been out there. Matt Haas has been out there. Good to see you.
It was Chris.
Jeff Robinson, Ron Norris. Ron Norris in the last little bit just posted, does anybody heard any updates on Donna's brother? And I mentioned that at the beginning of the show, but I'll mention it again. He's doing better. He's recovering. It's a long road ahead. He's not getting better like boom, overnight he's going to get up and walk. It's a long road ahead as far as his recovery. He's been able to sit up from my understanding, and also they're working on, they took the ventilation tube or ventilator off, and he was actually able to breathe on a CPAP for quite some time, but they're trying to get him off of the ventilator and onto a CPAP or back to breathing normally. That's working pretty good. So that's the update. on Donna's brother, and she can still use some help if y'all have the anything you can help. So Jeff Robinson, Ron Norris, Katie Dotson's been out there. Hi, Katie. I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. Not Chris Nealon's been out there.
Chris is the one that gave the $2, Russ.
Oh, okay, Chris is. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tracy Keaton. All of y'all been out there in the chat, and I'm sorry when I do things like this, it's really hard for me to get over there and watch in the chat to talk to y'all guys. See the sweat that I've got going on here? It's really hard to see in the chat. I mean, I can see it, but I can't read it unless I get my head over here and poke down into it, unless I put my glasses on.
Tell them to mash that button. Tell them to mash that thumbs up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mash the thumbs up. We've got 19. We had like, what was it, 38 people watching at one time. We got 19 thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. All y'all out there watching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Anyway, thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Chris, Jim, John, Ken, Al, Paul, and Russ Meadows is back on tonight, which I haven't seen him. It's been a while since he's been back on permanently on the panel, and I appreciate him being here. There's only one thing we've got left to do, and that is just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust, all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. God bless, and thank you for watching.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Good night.
Go home.